I met Byron when I was 19 and he was 21. And when we graduated college from the Florida State University, we had nothing but dreams, debt, and each other. But this great country allowed us to start from nothing with a great education and with hard work and determination and the freedom to achieve. We have been blessed with so much. And not only do we want to give back to this great country that has given to us, but we hope to give even more to this great state of Florida. Help me welcome my husband, Byron Donalds.
The National Federation of Republican Women. You know, the radical left is always trying to figure out why they keep losing. First of all, they're very, very dumb. But the reason why they keep losing is because of all of you here in this room. To your President, Julie Harris, Julie, you're doing a phenomenal job. Keep pushing, keep trucking, keep doing what you gotta do. A personal point of privilege for the great state of Florida, Barbara Price, our Florida president. I can't even see you, Barbara. The lights are so bright, they're in my eyes. Let me tell you quick, Barbara was on my case. She texted me, I think maybe like 5 different times. Are you coming? Are you gonna be here? Are you gonna be there? Are you gonna be there? I go, Barbara, I got it. I think we got it scheduled. I'm not gonna miss it, I promise. And a funny thing happens when you're in the middle of a campaign. You know, there's a lot of different priorities. Everybody's trying to get you scheduled to be there and be here. And so my team calls me and they go, sir, we think, you know, you have to do this dinner in Tampa. And I go, okay, let's, you know, when's the date? And they told me the date. And I go, well, let me look at the calendar. And I go, oh no, I can't do that dinner. And they go, well, but sir, you don't understand, da, da, da. I'm like, oh no, you don't understand. There are about 1,000 Republican women in Orlando, Florida, and I cannot miss that. Not gonna do it. You know, from one of the old comedy skits, I think it was about President Herbert Walker Bush. I think it was about him. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. So there's no way I was gonna miss this event. It's really my pleasure, my honor to be here. I wanna thank my lovely wife for introducing me. Thank you, honey. She's beautiful, isn't she? I married up. I made a good decision. Thank you. My wife is right there. Don't be fresh now. I appreciate you though. Listen, it's been a great year so far for the conservative movement. People are shocked that President Trump was able to come in this quickly and move this fast. They were shocked, but I was not shocked. You see, it was my honor, and it really was my honor, to be on the campaign trail with President Trump. It seemed like every other day we were on the trail going somewhere, whether it was Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, a lot of Pennsylvania. I feel like I was in Pennsylvania the last 3 weeks of the campaign. My wife, Pennsylvania. Hi. There's like 4 of you over there. They're like, it doesn't matter. We're 4, we're mighty, and our state is red. That's all they care about. I told my wife, I go, listen, here's what's gonna happen. She goes, what's going on? I go, I gave my calendar to the president's campaign. So they're just gonna send me places. And she was like, well, this is great because, we're in the fight. We're here. We need to win. I go, I know. Kamala Harris cannot be president of the United States. Aren't you happy that Kamala Harris is not president of the United States? I mean, I saw her, a clip of her interview the other day for her book. America, we dodged a bullet on this one. We dodged one on this. There's no doubt about that. So, I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna go campaign for the president. She goes, okay, well, what does this entail? I go, well, they took my calendar. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And what happened was I was not home at all, except to do laundry and to repack the bag because it was time to go to another destination. But this whole time through the 24 campaign, the reason why I was so motivated is because our country was on the line. We had just witnessed a disastrous presidential administration. They were terrible. During the end of the campaign, I affectionately called Joe Biden the master of disaster because everything was wrong. Everything was off. Immigration, border security, foreign policy, inflation, our economy. They tried to silence us. They weaponized the agencies of our government against us. They were prosecuting their political rival, not because there was a violation of the law, but because the radical left cannot abide a violation of their principles, which are crazy and do not coincide with the fabric of the United States Constitution. And so when they said, Byron, we're gonna send you here, we're gonna send you there, I said, all right, buckle up, let's go. Because the battle for this nation was in 2024, and it was in every state around America. As I was traveling the country, a funny thing started to happen. Americans, not at rallies, not at campaign stops. I'm talking about I would land in Detroit, get off the plane. Two people on the plane would see me, and as I'm waiting for one of my guys who was with me, who's probably somewhere in the back of the plane, I'm standing outside and I'm waiting for them to come off, and I would have one or two people come up and they would say, hey, are you Byron? And I'd be like, yes, yes I am, pleasure to meet you. And they would say this, or some variation. I've been watching what you guys are talking about. I'm with you. And they would do one of these. And you know how somebody does, they don't want anybody else knowing what's going on, so that's what they would do. What I would tell you is it wasn't just, it was, I'm just get to it. White people, black people, Spanish people, a lot of men, young ladies. I would go through TSA, the TSA guys, they would recognize me. I mean, they just took my ID and my picture and my shoes. So I guess they kind of figured it out. And as I was getting my bag and I'm trying to get to the next gate, they would be like, hey man. I had there are three great joys that I had. Not Joy Reid, she's never been a joy. The other joy that I had. The first was I was in New York and they asked me to do a radio show. It's called The Breakfast Club. So I went on The Breakfast Club. And The Breakfast Club, for people in the room who don't know, this is the largest syndicated breakfast drive time radio show in the country. The listenership is very strongly African American or black, that's how I say it. And so I went on, I did the show, and when I'm in there sitting in the green room, I knew the hosts, and I knew the hosts did not know as much as I knew. And I said, I got the host. This is gonna be easy, it's gonna be easy pickings, I got them. And so I'm sitting in the green room, and the screen lights up, and I look at my comms director and I say, who's this on the screen? And they go, I don't know. So I was like, find out. And something's telling me that they are going to try to tip the debate in their favor. So he comes back and he goes, oh, it's this lady named Angela Rye. Do you know her? And I go, oh yeah, I know her. And he goes, well, what do you think? I go, they're trying to have her be the attack dog on me. And her entire purpose was to try to discredit me, discredit my values, discredit my votes, so that the entire interview will go sideways. But a funny thing happened over the next hour and 20 minutes. I brought the facts. I brought the research. And I'll admit it, I remember when he did it, President Trump did this town hall with Caitlin Collins, and she wanted to get the president about his stance on abortion. And he goes, or it wasn't abortion, it was something else. I think it was probably around January 6th. And he goes, I know what I put out in my tweets. And she goes, no, Mr. President, that never happened. He was like, you sure you want me to do it? And she kind of had this puzzled look. He's like, I didn't want to do it, but I gotta do it. Reaches in, pulls out the actual tweet, reads it to her, hands it to her, and there was nothing that she could do. So I remember that. It was in my mind, and I said, you know what? This is going to be a special interview, and they're going to try to get me. And so what I had to explain to everybody that was listening in every car and radio all across America is that it was Joe Biden and Kamala Harris who destroyed the American economy. And I had to reach into my pocket and I had to present the receipts. And the article I gave them was an article from Larry Summers, who was Bill Clinton's chief economic advisor. And Larry Summers said that Joe Biden's agenda would cause inflation in America. And I handed to the host, and the host goes, oh, he brought notes. He brought notes. The second biggest joy I had, and if you were there, you know, it was Madison Square Garden. Let me tell you something. As a conservative, you never think that we're gonna basically rock the house at MSG. You know, we do great in a lot of places. North Carolina's great. We already know how Florida is. I just left Texas. Texas is always awesome. I love my 4 ladies over there in Pennsylvania. Love you guys. And so there's some states where we know when we come to town it's gonna be big. Weren't quite sure about New York, but President Trump was sure. And his whole thing was, this is gonna be great, I'm excited. We would talk about it on the plane going to place to place. He was up for it. I never asked the campaign to allow me to speak somewhere. My position was always, if they need me, they'll ask. I'll present and make myself available. It doesn't matter. If it's speaking, great. If it's shaking hands, awesome. If it's knocking doors, let's do that. Whatever it takes, we have to win. So, but this one I had to ask, because I'm from New York City. I had to ask. And so I called Susie and I go, Susie, listen, New York. And she goes, Byron, you're already on. We already know. And I was like, great. So the whole garden was electric. I got out of my Uber on 7th and 33rd because you couldn't get to 8th because there was a sea of MAGA hats going through New York City. And this was one of the times where I was like, oh, we have this election. We're gonna win this thing, and we're gonna win big. So we go in Madison Square Garden, sea of MAGA everywhere. We're in the garden, we took it over. It was the honor of my life to speak at that rally. I gotta tell you, even my mom was like, my baby made it, he made it. That's my baby. She sent me a text, she goes, bravo, and you know, with like flowers, and my mom, thank you, Mom, it was awesome. The third one that sinks into my mind from the 2024 campaign was we were in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Oh, Wisconsin is here. What's going on, Wisconsin? We are so grateful y'all went red back in 24. We're gonna make sure you go red in 2026. And so Joe Biden, somebody let Joe Biden out of his room because he found his way onto a Zoom call, and they actually let him, it was him, not the auto pen. Somebody let him out. And so he called all of us garbage. Everybody remembers that one? So we're on the plane, we just left North Carolina, and we're heading to Wisconsin. And the team comes up to me and they go, "Sir, we got this is gonna be great, you're gonna like this." And I go, what's going on? And they go, "We have a sanitation truck pulling up to the plane." And I go, "Wait, what?" And they go, "We have a sanitation truck pulling up to the plane when we land." And so my first question was, so the president's driving the truck, right? And they go, "He wants to really drive it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know he does. Secret Service won't let him." I'm like, "Secret Service, drive the truck." So we land in Green Bay. It's drizzling. They held the press about 1,000 feet from where we landed, at about 500 feet. And they pulled a bus in front of the press so the press couldn't see this garbage truck come on to the tarmac with a big old Trump sign, "Make America Great Again, 2024. And so they ask all of us, they're like, "All right, everybody, we need you guys to deplane quickly. We want to get this going. We're going to let the press come." And we're looking at this garbage truck through the windows of Trump Force One, and we're like, "Oh, this is great. This is going to be the best thing ever." So we walk down, everybody's pulling out their phone, we're all recording. The team goes, "Do not share anything until we share it first." And we're all like, "Dang it, I can't text my wife and be like, 'Look at this,' you know." So we're out there, we're waiting, and I'm like, "Okay, this is going to be so great." They moved the bus, like on one of those home decorating shows, like move that bus. Well, they moved the bus, and the press corps looks up, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And they're sprinting. They're like, their cameras are out, and they're running to the truck, and they're taking pictures, and they're sprinting. 2 people fell down. It was like a mad dash to this truck. And so everybody's waiting. And listen, one thing about President Trump, he knows how to use the stage. He knows. He comes, so we're waiting, and then he starts coming out, and we all look up, and he's at the top of the rampway coming off the plane, and he's in the sanitation vest. And I said to myself, "Oh, we're winning. This right here is how you win the hearts and minds of the American people." He comes down, he starts answering questions, and I'm standing next to, I think it was Corey Lewandowski. I'm standing next to Corey, and Corey's texting, and we're kind of all watching, and the president is talking to the press corps. And then I look at the truck. Now, mind you, these trucks, the first step is about 18 inches off the ground. And I look at Corey and I go, "Hey, Corey, can the president make that step?" I mean, we believe in Donald Trump, but that's a high step. And I'm like, "Is he gonna do this?" And Corey looks over, he goes, "He better." The energy of what happened last fall was on our side. And the reason why the energy was on our side is because the value system has always been on our side. Always. And then when you have the people who are willing to go out there and lay it on the line, day in, day out, explaining to the American people what's really at stake. This has always been how our elections work. It starts with all of you in this room. You guys have been the lifeblood of the Republican Party for years, decades. Our party cannot function without the mama bears that are the NFRW. And it also helps, and we gotta be honest, it also helps that when she was asked if she would change anything, Kamala Harris, nothing came to mind. Just nothing, not at all. I'm glad we unburdened her from what has been. Glad we did. But 2026 is in front of us, and we have a mission that has not changed. The radical left is more crazy now than they were last year. And the reason why is because they were defeated soundly by the hard work of our MAGA movement, the Republican Party, the conservative movement, and yes, young voters all across America, thanks to the legacy and the hard work of Charlie Kirk. But if you think they're done, they're not done. If you think they're gonna go away, you're fooling yourselves. I just saw it firsthand with this colleague of mine called Rashida. Her last name is Tlaib. And what was so disgusting about what happened about a week ago is the assassin used the language of the radical left and how the radical left describes us. And she is so committed to this ideology that would rip apart the greatest republic that's ever been created on the face of the earth, that she will still use those same words to describe us. And I'm sitting in committee and I'm watching her, and you know, as a member of Congress, I've seen Rashida go hysterical before, and she went hysterical again. But this time, I had enough. And I looked at Rashida and I said, Rashida, do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you? Because I don't know, I've kind of read my history. Third Reich didn't like me. They frankly didn't really like anybody. But this is the insanity that we are battling. And so in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination, you know, a verse came to me, and it's 2 Timothy 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. For the battle ahead in 2026 and beyond, we have to have a spirit of power. Everybody now is watching the videos and the debates of Charlie Kirk. Let me tell you a little bit about the man. The man feared God. The man was a Christian. The man had a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. And for our movement, we do have to embody that. If we want to lose even the modest gains that we have from 2024, have a spirit of fear. But if you want to continue the work that has made America great, and you want to begin to do the really hard and heavy lifting, which is institutionalizing a conservative agenda in the United States of America, it will require a spirit of power and a spirit of love and a spirit of self-discipline. The reason why I'm still involved in politics is really not for titles. It's about institutionalizing a conservative agenda. Because I know I know that conservatism, common sense, respect for liberty, respect for life, allowing people to make their money and keep it and pass it on to their kids, respecting property rights, separation of powers, Western civilization, and Judeo-Christian values, that is the only way a kid like me is now in the United States Congress, and in about 15 months will be the next governor of the state of Florida. I want to thank all of you. You're invited to the victory party. Thank you. Got to get a bigger place, Jesse. We need a bigger place. But what do I mean about this? You see, right now in this moment, if it's Rashida Tlaib or AOC or Crockett or anybody else, this is not the time to cower. This is the time to be bold in what we believe in. This is the time to go neighborhood by neighborhood, college campus by college campus, high school by high school, and explain to all Americans that we just started in 2024. We continue in 2026. Having a spirit of power, and listen, the president, he's got a spirit of power. I don't know if you know this. The drug cartels just found out. They sure did. But that spirit of power, which is embodied by Vice President Vance, by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, by Governor Ron DeSantis, by my good friend Vivek Ramaswamy in Ohio. I know you're here somewhere, Ohio. Oh, she stood up. She's like, yes, OHIO. She stood up. Our movement by my friend Kat Kamik, Mama Cat. Congresswoman Kamik is tough enough. Alachua County School Board, you have no idea what you're gonna deal with when you gotta deal with Mama Cat. But our movement is as strong as it has ever been. And this is the one thing that I think activists and people who have given their blood, sweat, and tears to our movement, like all of you here in this room, the thing that is different about our party today than maybe 20 years ago or 40 years ago is that we're not sitting back and waiting to be heard. We are taking our message everywhere. And we are not afraid, we are not ashamed, we will not bow, we will not yield. The spirit of love is the tricky part. Because I don't want to talk about Rashida and Crockett anymore. I'm done with them. But there are independent voters in our country who aren't paying attention to politics even today. There are long-standing Democrat voters. They're not party hacks. There are people who have a business, have a family, wants what's best for them. They're trying to figure out retirement, figure out vacation. They go to church. They go to synagogue. They love their neighbors, but they vote Democrat. How they live their lives is according to our value system. And the way we bring them to our side is the same way Charlie Kirk started turning young people towards conservatism. You go greet them where they are, you have respect, and you engage them. And then they will decide, you know what? These national federated Republican women are really, really smart. I need to team up with them. The last piece is self-discipline. It is very easy when Republicans are in charge to be caught up in who gets to be in charge. Those internal battles are consistent in our party. We're not Democrats. We're not lemmings. We don't just follow the leader no matter what. We are fiercely independent thinkers. We believe in having the ability to speak our mind. We support all kind of candidates in all kind of races. And that's all well and good. That's why our party is a strong party, and that's why their party has no bench and has no future. But for us, the mission is clear. When the primaries are over, and the primaries will come and go again, we are one party. We are one movement. And like I've been saying, and this has really been on my heart for a couple of days, and it's really been on my heart for a while about the internal workings of our movement, because it's bigger than the Republican Party. Of our movement is that we have people who have different ideas on how this should all get done. And sometimes we fight about it. Oh, that doesn't happen in your state? Oh, come now. California, y'all gotta stay together out there. I mean, you ain't got, woo, child, y'all gotta stay together in California. I'm just, listen, I just want California to be periwinkle. That's all. If we can get California and Illinois and Massachusetts to be periwinkle blue, we'll be in great shape. Great shape. But the arguments we have amongst ourselves, whether it's social media, email lists, text messages, this conversation, that conversation, I'm here to assure you of one thing. If we divide ourselves, that is how we lose. That is how we lose. So the self-discipline piece of this whole thing is, let's do what we always do. Let's have strong debates and sometimes strong disagreements. But when it's time to take on the radical left, let's remember one thing. No matter how conservative you are, no matter how MAGA you are, even if you are a moderate, but you are still a Republican, on any of our worst days, we are all better than Kamala Harris. Ladies, and even a handful of you gentlemen that are here this evening, but ladies, the best is yet to come. This nation, America, is the nation where everybody comes. We want them to come legally, but everybody comes to be free. This is the nation where children can really grow academically and build for their future and for their families. This is the nation where the framers more than 250 years ago shook off the shackles of tyranny of the British kings, because they knew if they stood for freedom, if they fought for liberty, that their progeny would be successful and create the greatest nation man has ever known. So NFRW, stay in the fight with us. 2026 is around the corner. Let's win the midterms, let's shock the world, and let's keep America great again. God bless you. God bless you, NFRW. God bless you, ladies. You're awesome. God bless America.